Have you ever wondered why you want to use TikTok and play video games? How to make work as enjoyable as TikTok? Video gamers burn thousands of calories competing in championships, their hearts beating to the beat of professional athletes on the field. Chess masters expend a lot of energy when participating in tournaments, but as they themselves describe, it seems easy. Have you ever wondered why you want to use TikTok and play video games on the one hand, but aren't willing to put the same effort into something that has the potential to change your entire life on the other hand? What if you could make your work more like playing a video game, using energy without effort? There is a part of our brain that makes activities stimulating and easy, like playing video games and scrolling. You just have to learn how to use it for the tough jobs, and I'll show you how to do it. I'll even show you not just one, but many ways to do it. The first step to unlock the motivation in this monster level is to remove all the obstacles. Before explaining what I mean, imagine this. You are a mouse whose goal is to reach the top of the mountain. To achieve this great result, start your journey on the simple route to the top, which is easy on the right. But what if there were plates of cheese on your path at every step you took? Just as you dream, imagine what would happen in this rat's brain. He would be faced with a dilemma between focusing on reaching the top and giving in to the temptation of cheese as he progressed down his difficult path, hungry for dopamine. The temptation to give only increased as he anticipated the pleasure a bite would bring him, gradually forgetting that one bite could reduce his endurance to the point that it could be the reason he failed to reach his goal. If this sounds right to you, then this is exactly what drains your energy to work harder and stay motivated. It's full of dopamine that distracts us from our original goal. And every time you take a bite, you slow down and fall behind. In a research experiment, experimenters put two people in separate rooms to complete the same task. They let the first guy do his job with perfect concentration, thereby preventing any possible disruption. For the second guy, while all other conditions were the same, they switched him from task A initially to task B later. What they found was surprising. Simple task switching made the second guy 3 times slower. Distractions are the biggest blockers to motivation and workflow, and your first step is to eliminate all the blockers. Think about video gamers who burn thousands of calories playing tournaments, and they don't even notice the effort they put in. They are simply addicted to their work. Not just because they play video games, but they also draw a particular kind of motivation from another source, from people who are able to exploit it, from people who work harder than any of them. Like professional athletes, speakers, and even some of the hardest working celebrities, Mr. Beast describes feeling like video gamers. They don't notice how time passes. They love doing this. They are addicted. How can someone like you be addicted to a job that seems so difficult to you? Can you become addicted to your work like them? Let me explain what makes you addicted to your work, like scrolling. Experts took a close look at these winners and found that the source of their motivation is different from the average person. There are 2 types of motivation, extrinsic and intrinsic. Extrinsic motivation is when we are motivated to achieve a result. This is where all normal people get motivated. They want results. On the other hand, intrinsic motivation means you are motivated to carry out the process. It's like listening to a song to enjoy it, not just to read it all. The most effective way to do this is simply to change your goals. So it's not about achieving a result, but about becoming the kind of person who is capable of achieving that result. So when things get harder and there's no hope left, you don't give up. Because if the goal is to become this type of person, the harder it is, the better you'll build it. Now let's look at the science of motivation. Science tells us that we tend to seek out activities that bring us joy. It is deeply embedded in our neural circuitry. This strong desire for pleasure is controlled by a neurotransmitter in our brain called dopamine. To understand why we are more motivated to use TikTok than work, and how to make work as enjoyable as TikTok, it is essential to understand that the release of dopamine is one of the powerful motivators. Imagine you are surfing on TikTok. Dopamine is released in the brain, and you feel happy. Now your brain associates using TikTok with these good feelings and wants to relive them over and over again. As a result, you want TikTok more and more. Then, every time you use TikTok and feel satisfied, the reinforcement of that behavior only gets stronger, making it addictive and scary. But what if we could turn the situation around? This is how you hack your dopamine store to motivate yourself. We are constantly pursuing highly stimulating activities thanks to the core part of our brain. So when you deprive your brain of dopamine by sitting in your room doing nothing, it will want to get back to work. Because working is now suddenly more stimulating than just sitting in your room, you have to lower your standards for what stimulates you. Nowadays, it is very difficult for people to feel satisfied. They quickly pick up the phone and feel a quick burst of dopamine. The amount of stimulation needed to make them feel satisfied only increases in this state. Working will never motivate them. But if you can reduce the constant feeling of boredom by staring at a blank wall, meditating, and not using your phone, working will suddenly seem stimulating. Here's how a simple tweak has motivated thousands of people to take effective action, and how you can use it to feel motivated. In the hospital, they noticed that a patient's health was deteriorating due to poor eating habits. Even though they were warned about the deadly consequences, their eating habits still did not improve. An experienced doctor took charge of the matter. She and her colleagues designed the hospital cafeteria in a way that could change patients' food choices. The original cafe is filled with soda, so they also added water as an option. Additionally, they placed baskets of water throughout the room. Water is now more convenient and easier to get. The results came quickly, and they found that in 3 months, soft drink sales decreased by 15%, and bottled water sales increased by 30%. They also made similar changes to food and achieved similar results. Think about its power. They changed the behavior of thousands of patients without making a single change in their motivation. Environment changes your behavior more effectively than motivation. Because if I put a gun to your head and ask you to work, you will be motivated to work hard. So you just need to create an optimal environment to get the most work done. According to experts, if you want to force yourself to act a certain way, change what you see. A small change in what you see can lead to a big change in what you do. So you keep your phone out of your eyes. You procrastinate less. You always keep that book in front of you. You read more. Nearly 80% of our sensory organs are used for vision, so it's no surprise that this is true. How does the world's fittest athlete, who has completed more than 60 triathlons and ultra triathlons, stay motivated? Every day of his life was marked by devastating pain. But how does he get through this consistently when 99% of people have trouble even getting out of bed? When you ask these elite people, they will tell you that it is not a matter of motivation, but a matter of discipline. While some of these may be true, they are not completely accurate. They are motivated, but their motivation is different from other people's motivation. We look for things that increase dopamine levels more than others. Again, For most people, the reward gives them more dopamine than the pursuit. To achieve consistent wins and work hard consistently, your task must cause more dopamine than the reward. David Goggins loves the chase. He gets more dopamine as he continues and doesn't care about the results. He felt pleasure from the friction itself. He trained himself to push through pain even when he was unmotivated. Recently, scientists have identified a part of the brain called the frontal cortex. This section focuses on the brain's willpower and the madness that occurs when people do things they hate. This increases its size. So, the more you persevere through pain, the more your will strengthen, and over time, the easier it will be for you to engage in work. Hard work is not fun, and is often not pretty. It's painful. But once you have this big goal, you'll commit to it. You realize that, yeah, it will suck, so you have to pay the price to get the result. Otherwise, you won't get it. There's a reason it's called hard work. All right then, that's a wrap for today. Stay on the path to progress. More coming soon. See ya.